Well, look at that. That is Frank Cepatini in that beautiful Camaro. I'm looking for grid sheets in here. Hold on a second. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. I've just come from the Trans Am race that was quite crazy. This is Group 10. I think I have the right sheet. If you want a sheet, here you go, Scott. Look at that. Ricky Bobby is here with us in that number 26, Ryan Thompson. This is a different group here with us. This is a stock car group that Carlos Gann and his guys, but look at that, Ricky Bobby. Tony, I'm loving these shots you're getting me. He can't wait to go fast, mama. There's Phil Lasco coming in there in a TA2 car. Phil Lasco has raced with us in TA2, but a long-time SVRA competitor. It's the number 14, a 2016 Ford Mustang TA2. So this is Group 10 at the Atlanta Speed Tour. Look at that beautiful target car, the 41B of Brian Norman, 2006 Dodge Charger. You know, we had Ray Evernham here in the booth, and that might have been a car that Ray Evernham worked on, because that was about the era of Ray Evernham doing some Dodges. There's the City Financial, the number 90 of Brent Bernath. That is a 2006 Ford Fusion. So let me get back to it. It's Group 10. We've got some GT cars out there. We've got some stock cars. And then in the stock, look at that thumbs up. I love it. In the stock car group, we have several different classes. The stock car group is going to join us for 4 races this year, but I believe it's a 12-race series championship. They're going to be back here for the Midi at Road Atlanta. I know that they've got a VIR on their schedule. They are with us at Sebring, so it's a really neat group of stock cars. If you've got a stock car in your garage or barn, come out here and race with them. The way that they do their championship is really agreeable to most people's schedules, and it's going to be some great racing. Joe Nemechek is in this group with us. Yesterday, Joe Nemechek, actually, there he is, coming out in that number 8, being pushed out. If we get a good shot of his front left fender, he had a bad off yesterday. And I just went to go check on my friend, Joe Nemechek, and just to see if he was okay, because you know at Road Atlanta, if you hit the wall at turn 1 at Road Atlanta, you hit it with some speed. And he says, I'm fine. Do you know where my fender is? I'm putting this thing back together. I'm making qualifying tomorrow. And I was like, that is so Joe Nemechek to say, as Tom Lemkule is out there splitting these cars. I'm going to go through the grid. So we start number 1, Joe Nemechek. He is in a Group 10 stock car D class in a 2006 Toyota Camry. Matthew Butson is in a 2011 Chevrolet Corvette. Last weekend at the Roval in a stock car. This time he's in a Group 10 GT car, like a GT1 or a TA car. Matthew Butson races with us in both the West Coast and the National Series of Trans Am. I've seen him racing all kinds of great cars. Frank Cepatini in 3rd, 1998 Chevrolet Camaro. Scott Borchetta in a 2020 Ford Mustang TA2 car, the number 48. I don't see him in the field. Johnny O'Connell. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that Johnny O'Connell. It's kind of an honor for me to just say that. You know, how cool is that? This is the first time I remember Johnny O'Connell with us. So Johnny O'Connell, welcome. I hope this is the first of many. There he is in that 1984 Chevy Corvette. How cool is that? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ryan Thompson is in 6th, 2006 Chevy Monte Carlo. Phil Lasco in that 2016 Ford Mustang TA2. Brian Norman, 2006 Dodge Charger. Brent Bernath in a 2006 Ford Fusion stock car. Dan Malloy in a 2006 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Russell Wittenberg, 2018 Ginetta G55 GT4. So I just said, if you're listening, a 2006 Monte Carlo stock car, and then a Jetta from 2018. John Cloud, 2019 TA2. Steve Denton in a Porsche Cayman. Carlos Gang car in the field, a 1987 Ford Thunderbird. Alan Davison back with us in his Panos GTS. Tom Kopczynski in a Porsche 718, and Joseph Rizzo. Scott, I'm sorry about that. Tell us about Johnny O'Connell. I didn't have your microphone on.
Oh, that's okay. Johnny O'Connell, what else would he drive but a Chevrolet Corvette? Hometown hero here in Georgia.
I'm going to interrupt you, though. Sorry about that. We're going to get to him, but here comes a green flag, and they're coming down to the flag slow, just like Joe Nemechek likes it. Here he comes. There's Joe Nemechek there on our left. Matthew Butson on the right. Johnny O'Connell just behind Matthew Butson in that black Corvette. Frank Cipottini, and there goes Ricky Bobby to the inside of Johnny O'Connell. Didn't think I'd say those words here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. They come up the hill. Joe Nemechek really gaps Matthew Butson there in that stock car, and they fall into what becomes a train, doesn't it? It's basically one lane now.
Yeah, one lane through the S's, and then they'll probably do one lane down towards turn 6, unless you have a really good run out of turn 5. You're going to go one lane, and then they'll go into the very slow turn 7, first gear turn, to get some torque and horsepower out of it, down the back straightaway.
Wow, it is cool to see this field. Look at that, John Cloud on that Jetta. John Cloud and his ultimate headers. Chevy Camaro. There's that Jetta there, the 24B. Beautiful car.
Yeah, Kopczynski and Rizzo just have finished a race with their Porsches, and they're in this field as well. So very, very busy weekend for them, as well as International GT. Good battle should be developing between Boots and Cipottini. They have had good battles through the test sessions and qualifying sessions, as Boots in a former Abe Chevrolet Corvette, and Cipottini in the Chevrolet Camaro.
So if you're paying attention, ladies and gentlemen, that's Joe Nemechek leading the race. His son, John Hunter Nemechek, is going to be racing today, I believe. And here he is. Look at that in that Toyota Camry. This is where he did it all wrong yesterday. He worked through the night to get it. Look, and he slides it. Look at that. Front row Joe hanging it out. I love it.
Yeah, Joe Nemechek has started more NASCAR races than any other driver in NASCAR history. He passed Richard Petty a couple of years ago. Over 648 NASCAR division starts.
That's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. And Joe, I'm sure that he was upset with himself. I don't think it was anything mechanical with the car. I think he just made a mistake, and he went off right after he had set the fastest lap in the qualifying session number 1 yesterday afternoon.
And ladies and gentlemen, I got to clear something up too. You might be thinking he got out of the car, went to his hauler, and said, "Hey guys, fix it." No. When I saw him to check on him, he's under the car hammering something, telling me to go find his fiberglass front fender. He's fixing this thing himself. He's got the welder out. He's his crew chief, driver, and mechanic all in one.
You want it done right, do it yourself, right?
That's exactly right. And there's Matthew Butson. I met Matthew Butson a few years ago with the Trans Am Series West Coast. He ran the TA2 car with us in Portland. Talented driver. He's with Ave Motorsports in that beautiful GT1 car. And look at that, Joe Nemechek, man, he's sliding that thing out. I don't know if he's on old tires or what, if he just wants to give all these great fans here a show. But there's Matthew Butson in what I'd call a TA car. That car raced in TA, Trans Am, just last season, and it's still probably eligible based on what I'm seeing with my eye here as they come down these S's. A really complicated part of the track. Scott, with your history here, I'm sure you've seen a lot of people get it wrong.
Yeah, going through turns 1, 2, and 3, that's very difficult. As you are going through turn 1, you go up towards the right to our blind crest at turn 2 and 3, and then down through 4 or 5, the S's. It's very easy to get that wrong too. It's not actually a straight line S. You kind of have to go over to the left a little bit to get a good run up to turn 5, and then turn 5, a little late apex to go through turn 5, get a good run down into turn 6. Sometimes you can surprise and actually pass somebody going into turn 6 that's banked, so you can brake a little bit later and actually carry a little bit more speed in there than you think you can.
As we look down this high long straightaway. I love that they call that a straightaway because there's a clear left and right on there, downhill into 10A.
It kind of meanders back and forth, but make no mistake, it's flat out. That's where you reach your top speed.
That's Frank Cipottini there in what I'd call a GT1 TA car from years past.
Cipottini, the Group 10 GT4 defending sprint point champion, winning that last year. But as I said, Boutsen and Cipottini had good battles during the qualifying. We expected to see a good race between the Corvette and the Camaro.
That's a beautiful car. I love having Frank out here. He's with us quite a bit. And we've got a stock car battle happening just back there from these cars. But here is Frank Cipottini coming down these S's. That is so Road Atlanta. When I think Road Atlanta, that's the section of the track that I think of right here.
Yeah, that is the most photographed part of Road Atlanta, always has been, and that's one of the best viewing spots if you're here in person, is up on what we call Spectator Hill. It overlooks the exit of turn 3, and you see him go down and then back up at the S's almost right towards you, and then make that left-hand turn to turn 5, and you can see him go down to turn 6. I believe that Boutsen is driving the Chevrolet Corvette. It's running 24 here, but I believe that is the one that Ave used to win the national championship in 2020. He ran it as number 4 at VIR and won the GT1 national championship. Boutsen finished 4th in the Western TA championship, as you said when you met him out on the West Coast, Ben.
Yeah, he's a really good driver. Very young. Last year I was talking to him at Sonoma on the paddock, asking him where else he's going to race, and he said it depended on his college schedule. So he's just out of college, I believe. But look at this. Phil Lasco right here in a TA2 car. Then there's Brian Norman, followed by Johnny O'Connell. Johnny O'Connell, Mr. Road Atlanta. So, Scott, I missed your intro on Johnny O'Connell. Fill in the crowd why I'm a little starstruck just saying his name.
Well, Johnny O'Connell is the great Road Atlanta driver here from Georgia, and he has won many Petite Le Mans races. He's won many Sebring 12-hour races, many 24-hour Le Mans races as part of the Factory Corvette team. Andy Pilgrim was originally entered in this car, and he couldn't drive it because of his other driving duties in International GT and helping Anthony Bartoni. So he asked Johnny O'Connell to come over, and Johnny said, sure, I'm not doing anything. I'll jump in there. They had some teething problems with it during the first couple of sessions, in the testing sessions, but he has been steadily getting faster and faster, really having a good time. And, of course, Factory Corvette driver, what else, Ben, would Johnny O'Connell be driving but a Chevrolet Corvette?
Exactly.
Now, Johnny O'Connell also holds the record for slides here. In the American Le Mans Series Petite Le Mans, this was, I believe, 4 years ago, that he came out from underneath the Fox Factory Bridge, and it had been raining, and they had just done a restart. O'Connell put just one tire onto the top of the turn 11 on the grass. He finished sliding way down here at the bottom of turn 12, and everybody was holding their breath waiting for the impact. It stopped about a millimeter short of the wall. He fired it up, got back out, and he finished 3rd.
Wow, that's awesome. There's Brian Norman there in that Target Dodge Charger. Wait. Followed by Johnny O'Connell. Look at that Charger. That is a cool looking stock car.
Yeah, I believe that's one of the Chip Ganassi, Juan Pablo Montoya Target Dodge Chargers that they ran back in the day. Juan Pablo Montoya, famous for Formula One and Indy cars, but he had a very good stock car racing career with Chip Ganassi Racing.
And ladies and gentlemen, let me just fill you in on something here. I'm sitting right next to Scott Conway. This is all off the top of his head. This is the amazing thing about Scott Conway. The information that this man has is just unbelievable. And you can see right there his hands really moving. Brian Norman, so much fun as Johnny O'Connell sees that he just took a little bit of a hiccup. So Johnny O'Connell looks to the inside at Mission Foods turn 7. Who would have thought Johnny O'Connell in a Corvette racing against a stock car here at Road Atlanta? But that is the beauty of the Atlanta Speed Tour. Not only is Johnny O'Connell out on track, but so is Ricky Bobby, struggling to look through his sponsorship on his windshield. He loves Fig Newtons, but he's not sure if it's a great sponsor because it's blocking his vision.
Well, that is a very strange place to make a pass. We hardly ever see anybody pass in turn number 7. Again, that's the slowest turn on the track. It's a first gear turn for whatever car that you're in. And O'Connell, with the knowledge here that no one else probably has on this track that is racing in this group, is again, O'Connell has raced for years and years here at Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, and was able to pull off that pass. A very unusual spot, but not for O'Connell.
No, I think he knows just about every inch of this track. Is that kart's tracking really well. He's putting it right in the right place every time.
In this Mission Raceway Road Atlanta, elevation changes that you see here on the live stream through speedtour.tv/YouTube, it is not something that was built or made. That is the natural topography of these mountain, as we're right at the base of the Appalachian Mountains in North Georgia, and the track was actually kind of sculpted from the topography, and drivers here absolutely love it. It's a go-to track and an iconic track. And when the first year of the American Le Mans Series came here, all the European drivers fell in love with it because it had so many aspects of the European courses that they were used to.
Yeah, I love this track. And you know, I've never met anybody that's ever said, I figured out Road Atlanta.
No, you never will. It's a very fast track, a very challenging track. Again, it is famous for high speed because of the straightaways, but it also is famous for its technicality of turn one, a reducing radius turn, where just as you need more track out room, you have none. It has blind corners, it has off-camera corners, it has high speed, high braking, low braking, and unusual for a track of this length and a track that is like this. It has several different passing zones. Usually on a track like this, there's usually one passing zone, but this has at least 2 or 3, turn 1 being one of them. Turn 6 and turn 10A are the 3 that usually people make passes in.
Yeah, now there we are. There's Ricky Bobby in that 2.6, driven by Ryan Thompson, 2006 Chevrolet Monte Carlo. I was talking to Carlos Gann about this car, but true to the form, just like Ricky Bobby would have driven it, with that Fig Newton's sponsorship right there on the windshield. Not a bright idea, but making for a good show. Really fast driver there. Way to bring that out. That might be one of my favorite cars here this weekend.
Well, Joe Nemechek, I believe, is trying to sail off into the sunset there, Ben. Joe Nemechek, who is going for his 5th win of the year. He won both rounds of the stock car division at Sebring, and then won both of them at Charlotte Motor Speedway, which you would kind of expect. He has a lot of experience there, but won both rounds there and is leading, and looks like he's on his way after a brief introduction with the wall to his Toyota yesterday, running very well today.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be monitoring our YouTube channel, SpeedTour TV. Leave us some comments if you have any questions, if you have anything you want to add to the commentary, or if you just want to tell us to be quiet so we can listen to this beautiful music. Anything you want, this is your chance to talk to commentators. I'm sure if you're a fan of motorsports, you've wanted to reach out to the commentators. I know there's a lot of experts out there watching. I'm not sure you're going to be able to stump Scott Conway, but please leave a comment and tell us who you're rooting for out there.
Ben, I'm going to have to make you my agent.
Here's John Cloud coming down in that TA2 Ultimate Headers. Beautiful number 41 car.
Now here's a good problem to have, Ben. John runs a Ford Boss 302 Ford Mustang. He has an ex-Rusty Wallace Pontiac Grand Prix that he runs in the stock car division. He owns the number 4 that Wally Dallenbach Jr. will be driving in the Trans Am tomorrow, and he's out there in a Chevrolet Camaro. That's a great problem to have.
Yeah, it is. And I've known John for many years, and couldn't happen to a better guy. You know, he loves racing. He and his wife Debbie are always out here, and even when they're not driving, they're supporting drivers like Jeb Burton.
Right. They
were one of the sponsors when Jeb Burton won Talladega last year in the Xfinity Series. So they just love motorsports.
And Jeb Burton was driving for Debbie Cloud, and they co-drove together when she had her Ford Fusion. I'd like to wish Debbie well. She had an off at Watkins Glen that she broke a couple of ribs, and she hasn't been driving since, but we hope to see her back out on the SVRA Tour very soon.
I think she will be. I got to tell a funny story about Debbie Cloud.
Go ahead.
So when Jeb got in her Camaro at VIR, she said, "Don't you expletive wreck my baby," and kind of threatened him. And he looked around like, uh-oh. And he came up to me later and goes, "I think she was serious." And I said, "Oh, no, she's dead serious."
Yeah, she's serious.
And he didn't put a wheel wrong, and they've been friends ever since.
Yeah, when Debbie was running a Ford Fusion, and she was very fast in that Ford Fusion, but for years she could not get by John Cloud. And then one race, she finally passed John Cloud, and they asked John, said, "Are you upset because Debbie passed you?" He goes, "No, I'm the most proud person in the world because Debbie has come so far in her driving, and she beat me. I'm happy for her."
Yeah,
they actually
awesome.
met at the racetrack. That's where their romance began. They were married there.
That's awesome. Phil Lasco there in the TA2 car. It's great to have Phil Lasco with us.
Lasco and Jeff Lindstrom both used to run in the Group 12 GT in Ford Mustangs, but Lindstrom moving into the Group 12 MP2 category in his 5-liter coupe, and Lasco getting this car and moving into Group 10.
So we're looking down on the beautiful Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. Here at Atlanta, it's a windy day. I'm surprised that drone can stay so still. Here is a beautiful black. So like we were talking about, these drivers are able to drive these IGT cars in lots of different classes, but that's Steve Denton, 2016 Porsche Cayman GT4.
That's one of the great things about the International GT Series, which will be coming up next for their second feature race, is that you get a lot of track time there. You get a lot of track time with SVRA, especially here at Road Atlanta, as we have the International GT, the SVRA Run Groups, Trans Am 2 and Trans Am all this weekend. Joe Nemechek continues to set sail in that beige and black number 8 Toyota Camry. And it was interesting, Ben, after that repair that was made, we weren't sure, Dave and I were talking over in the PA booth, we weren't sure if we'd see Nemechek out there. Well, he came by, and on his third lap, he set a qualifying time that was almost a second quicker than before he hit the wall yesterday.
That's amazing.
That just shows how well that car was repaired and how good a driver he is.
Now we're following along with Alan Davison and a Panos. And Panos, just down the street, that car would have been made about 2-3 miles from here.
Right.
That's Alan Davison, who owns Food Processing Equipment Company out of Arkansas. If you've ever eaten a chicken nugget, you've eaten something that came through his equipment. They do all kinds of chicken food processing for all the big companies. And it's so great because he's actually sponsoring Dylan Archer in the TA2 race. A lot of our vintage racers, it's really fun to help support these young and up-and-coming drivers like Dylan, as now we're watching Ricky Bobby.
Ben, I want to go back to the Panos for just a minute, because the Panos is the Don Panos that basically resurrected Road Atlanta back to this beautiful facility that you see in front of us. And Don Panos also single-handedly, I think, responsible for bringing prototype racing and LMP racing back into the United States. It was actually his son that was able to get Don Panos interested, and they had the Panos Esperante and the Panos GTS that were they also had the Panos GTS that was part of the Women's Global GT Championship that was run here at Road Atlanta, and that was one of the series that both Cindy Lux and Amy Ruman came up through. Ben?
Yeah, there he is. That's our finisher, top finisher there, Joe Nemechek, coming down on his cool-down lap. Another unbelievable race. So good finish there, Scott, from Joe Nemechek. Another win. He's going to be tough to beat in his group in that stock car class.
He's going to go for number 6 tomorrow.
Yeah, he's going to be 6 for 6 tomorrow, unless we give him the commentator's curse.
See if Matthew Bootson will be able to hold on to the Group 10 GT4 win. As that Chevrolet Corvette driven very, very well by Matthew Bootson. He plays hockey with the Snowbird Thunder Kings up in Seattle, one of the top AAA hockey teams in the country.
There he is, front row Joe. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that does it for our first Group 10 race here at the Atlanta Speed Tour. We're going to take a break here, come back.